Hello, welcome to episode 5. If you saw my tease a little bit earlier, you know that this one we are finally going to dive into the genre that I know for those that know me best have probably been waiting for me to finally get into. That's today. So, today we are talking metal, going into the genre that just changed my life, has had the greatest impact on my life. I mean, this genre of music really opened everything up to me. It's possibly the most important thing that is not my daughter in my life. And I love this genre. And it really starts with a band that really blew my eyes open to this genre and to the power of it. Before I got into this band, hard rock was pretty much as far as I was getting. Anything past that, I was a little hesitant on because I wasn't quite used to the growling vocals or the screams. But then this band got introduced to me and all that changed. So the backstory to this, before I tell you the band, was I have this cousin who has been so important to me. He means so much because the impact that he has had on my life it's powerful, the impact that this guy made on my life. So our backstory is, and they're fairly similar actually. When I was younger, him and I would and he's older than me. I can't remember how much older, but by at least a few years, if not a little more. But when we were younger, we would we had this real cool connection, a real cool bond. We didn't get to see each other very often, but when we did, it was always so much fun. We from playing with puppet dinosaurs or just hanging out and having a good time. I remember camping in his backyard one time and we stayed up talking about Beavis and Butthead. It was hilarious. I had no idea what they were. I knew I wasn't allowed to watch them and that they were obnoxious and inappropriate, but he did watch them and it was just cool hearing all this stuff coming from him. So, and you're going to hear his name come up a handful of times from this point moving forward. Because like I said, his impact on my life, especially when it comes to music, is massive. I love this guy so much, and I'm always appreciative, and I will always be in his debt of just the impact that he had on my life and how he really helped boost me and keep, his part in keeping me on this earth. I don't know that I've ever really told him, but I mean, there's no words to really, truly express my gratitude for him. So, in a way, today's episode is also going to be a celebration of my cousin. So, I remember, at this point, I was really getting into hard rock. I had been listening to a whole bunch of bands at this point, but I had never really stepped into the genre of metal. And my cousin, Jared, changed that. I will never forget telling him, a couple songs that I thought were, the ultimate pissed off songs and they're so cool, they say the word fuck, ma. And I remember he just kind of laughed at me and was like, those songs aren't angry. I mean, they're pissed off, sure, but that's not, if you want a truly angry song, if you need something that is gonna just kind of shake you, so you gotta listen to Pantera. Yes, today's episode is Pantera. These guys, oh my God. To call them iconic is an understatement, and I don't feel it really does them enough justice, but it's the closest I can get. Pantera what can you say about this band that hasn't already been said? How can you express just how amazing that band was? Tragically, we have to use it all in past tense. Unfortunately, 2 of the members are no longer with us, and that's tragic. And their whole story is it's such an intense story of how you can have all these tools, this lifestyle that can really help you get through stuff, can really help you process, and you still lose it all. And then you have to look back on everything through hindsight. And the story of the band, I feel, has a lot of lessons to it. And their vocalist, Phil, I think he would kind of agree, like, hearing that guy talk now about their days back then and all the lessons that he's learned through life, post Pantera, it's really incredible. It's really powerful to see how these guys who went from wanting to be like a hair metal band, heavily influenced by Kiss, how they went from that to just being these titans of a whole genre. But not just the genre. I mean, they are titans of music. They were innovative. They were powerful. And to see them go through this journey and then fall into the grasp of drug abuse and alcohol abuse and see how they came out. I mean, I won't go in all of it, but Pantera is such an incredible band, and they've had such an impact on my life, and it's all really thanks to my cousin Jared. So Jared, if you're watching, thank you, sir. I mean, love you. You're incredible, and this goes to you too. So Pantera, my first introduction to them was their first album, Cowboys from Hell. And if you haven't heard the song, you're doing yourself an injustice, because it's freaking awesome. And but the album itself, when I listened to the whole thing front to back, I didn't know what to think. I had never really heard a band where it was like so aggressive and so groove based, and just, you hear the guitar riffs and the drums and the way he did his vocals, and everything about how they wrote this album is infectious. It makes you want to move. It makes you want to hold your head up higher, put your shoulders back. It makes you really kind of feel like a surge of empowerment, and not empowerment in the idea of like you're cocky and all that. It's an empowerment of, I think I have an idea of what it means to truly believe in yourself, and what it means to stand up for what you actually believe in, stand up for your own moral code. Like, it's just, every time I listen to this album, it's not one that I can just like, oh, it's whatever, it's playing, it's Pantera, they're good. I mean, I hear this music and it reignites, every time I hear it, it just makes me want to stand up. It makes me want to just conquer something. And it was awesome hearing this album for the first time, because at this point, like, I had found the bands that had changed my life already. They had really connected to me in such a deep level and really started uplifting and everything. But listening to Pantera, it floored me, because there's just something about the aggressiveness that I was like, it sucked me in. And I remember my cousin Jared just telling me, like, oh dude, that's only scratching the surface. Like, wait till you hear all of their other stuff, because it only gets heavier. It only gets bigger from this point on. And if you listen to the album Cowboys from Hell, to think about how can you get bigger? How do you expand on something that's so massive already? And then you hear their other stuff. And this band, I've gone through not a full roller coaster with them, but listening to them has been a legitimate journey. And I've been listening to them since, like I said, late 8th grade time, going into freshman year of high school. And they really, Jared introduced these guys to me at such an important point in my life, because that was when the struggles with mental health were really kicking into overdrive. And that was like some scary times back then. And then I heard Pantera, and although I didn't relate completely on a lot of the lyrical level, it like I said, there's something infectious about their music and about that first album. And it just, hearing it, I remember thinking, just holy shit. You know, things can get really bad and it's okay. You know, you have to be able to find a footing to be able to move through it. And listening to that first album really kind of set that first step for me. And then I heard their second album, Vulgar Display of Power, and all those feelings of like empowerment, all the feelings of, oh, I can feel like my posture straightening up. I can feel my head naturally wanting to be held higher. And then I heard Vulgar Display of Power. And that album took that mentality and that idea of empowerment and like self-worth, and just it. Jared wasn't joking. I mean, it took it to a different level, which is funny because like it's got the track a whole, you know, a new level. And listening to that track and then listening to that whole album and the emotional ride that that album really puts you on was like, again, I mean, I'm getting goosebumps right now just remembering the first time hearing these albums. And it really became, I mean, Vulgar Display of Power became almost an anthem album for me, where if I really felt myself just beating down on myself, just really being hard and just hating myself, I could listen to Vulgar Display, and it was almost like facing yourself, facing that darker side of yourself that wants to drag you down, that wants you to end everything. Listening to that album really kind of made me feel like I could face it, and not only face it, but to tell it to fuck off, you know, to like get aggressive, get angry with it, and not allow it to hold you down. And it was like those two albums I listened on repeat constantly because they were just so like, it's hard to explain it, but it gave me kind of a new appreciation for life. And then my next introduction to them was I skipped an album. I'm not sure why. I think it was just one of my friends happened to have The Great Southern Trendkill with them. And we listened to that album. And that album, if you haven't heard it, you need to. Especially these days, because I feel that album these days is so relevant with a handful of the songs. It's almost frightening. But I truly feel The Great Southern Trendkill is an important album at any point. But these days, it seems to have kind of a whole new meaning to it for me. But that album, for those that don't know, the album kicks off with a blood-curdling, painful scream. I mean, there's no intro. There's no getting you ready for it. It is in your face. It punches you in the gut right from the get-go. And that album never lets off the gas. Even the acoustic song, you still feel such a gut-wrenching, like, emotional pull on that album. And it never stops. It's so incredible. And I remember being almost afraid of that album the first time I heard it, because that was truly my introduction into like the growl vocals and the screaming vocals. That was really what brought me to that world. And it honestly kind of freaked me out, because it was like, oh, they are unafraid of the ugliness of everything in our everyday lives. They are unafraid of dealing with inner demons. They are unafraid of all this stuff. And not only are they unafraid, But the bravery it takes to like be open about mental health and suicidal thoughts and be unafraid of like, I mean, to have the kind of confidence to just blatantly talk about, here's what's wrong, here's how it needs to be corrected. We have fucked everything up, and it's time to get on, like, it's time to change this. And it's such a, like, powerful album. And that album, and talking with my cousin Jared about, like, just music and metal in general, because that album and this band, I mean, those 3 albums and Pantera in general really opened the dialogue for me of what the world of metal and what the world of music had. And I remember Jared just, I remember the excitement on his face as I was like connecting with music the way that he had and continued to. And it was really cool because I felt a sense of pride almost. Because I felt like I was making him proud. It was like he was passing the torch to me. And I remember he was like, hearing him talk about music and Pantera, and especially because Pantera was like the echelon for him. Well, one of them. But it was so cool because him and I had always connected. We'd always been close to each other. We had walked similar paths. We had dealt with very similar themes in life, just at different points. And it was amazing that suddenly we had this whole new world and this whole new fandom that he had already been a part of, and now he was bringing me in. I was under his wing, and he was bringing me in. And the thing with metal is there's never like a real gradual introduction into the genre. You don't just like tiptoe into it. You are thrown into it. And you swim or you sink, you know? It's like you either end up loving the genre or you just don't get it and you're not a part of it. And you know what's amazing? That's okay. No metalhead gives a shit if you like the genre or not, because for us metalheads, there's such a deep connection to the genre that no one else's opinion, if they don't like it, really has any bearing on how we feel about it. And Pantera is that band that just, they encapsulate that. I mean, they really just, it is unapologetic. You know, I talked about in the first episode about old hip-hop and rap from like the 80s and 90s, and just how it had struck me of how unapologetic they were with what they were saying. I mean, it was just, here's the story. I had that same influence and that same feeling, but instead of here's a story, now it was on a level of like, shit's fucked up. It's not pretty. Things are not easy. Life is not a pleasant meadow that you get to skip through. Life is rough. I mean, life puts you through the ringer, and it is out there to really test your limits, past your limits. But with metal, it's aggressively confrontational when it comes to that stuff. That's the whole purpose of like the screams and the growls and the intense guitar riffs and the drums. Every aspect of metal is there to be confrontational, whether it's through anger or through just, I'm sick of allowing this stuff to keep me down. And Pantera is just, they encapsulate that whole attitude so perfectly and so angrily. So this band, listen to them like crazy. I mean, all of their albums, and when I finally got to hear Far Beyond Driven, that album, again, I mean, every time I've listened to Pantera, I get that same resurgence of appreciation for life, and it gives me this appreciation for myself and kind of a confidence in myself that I think we all go through these times where you can feel it slipping. You know, your self-esteem takes a handful of hits. Well, Pantera is that band where when you start really feeling like you're just letting all the stuff bear down on your shoulders and you just don't know how to handle it anymore, I'm telling you, you throw Pantera on and that stuff it doesn't just fall off. I mean, you get this sense that you are throwing it off of your shoulders. You are not allowing it to hold you down. And Pantera became a band that I really used as an outlet and a venting tool when I used to have some anger issues. And I would get the sense of just pure hatred. And to be honest, thinking about it on these days, and when I really had to put stuff into perspective, I mean, I never had a legitimate reason for being so hateful and so angry all the time. But when I was, you know, I knew the truth that all of my hate and projected anger was really, it was just a defense mechanism because that was how I was feeling about myself. And Pantera was a band that I would throw on specifically when I would be hitting these pretty angry, hateful moments in life. I would throw Pantera on, and all of the hate and anger honestly would alleviate. It would just lighten up. I would feel better all of a sudden. And it wasn't like, they're not glorifying hate and they're not glorifying anger, which is a common misconception, especially with the genre of metal, is that, oh, they just hate the world, fuck everyone. That's not really what's happening. Yes, there's songs like that, sure, because they're entertaining. And if you have a moment where you don't feel like it's healthy to just scream because you have too much going on, you need an outlet, just scream, curse, have an outburst. It's okay. It's healthy for you. Let it go. Don't bottle it up. Well, Pantera was that venting tool. I would be so angry and so down. I would throw Pantera on, and it didn't, like I said, it wasn't glorifying any of those feelings. It was giving me that voice. It was giving me that tool to healthily let it go. Get it out of my system. You blast this stuff, you get it out of your system, and you feel better. You feel happier. You feel lighter. And it's funny that Pantera really is a band that helped tweak that, helped me really define that. Because to, everyday ears, they would sound just, oh, these guys are pissed off. Sure. Because there's reasons to be pissed off. You don't have to be afraid of it. I mean, these days I am very optimistic, as optimistic as I can be. But the matter of fact is, there's always something to be mad about. There's always something that's going to rub you the wrong way. It's going to piss you off. You're going to have moments of hate and anger and sadness and sorrow. You can see the sunshine and appreciate it and love it. Sorry. But truth is, not everything is it's not Hollywood. This isn't a movie, Things are going to suck some days. And Pantera they're such a perfect band to throw on when you're having those days, because every song just hits those notes of, hey, you can believe in better days, you can believe in yourself, and you can have all this, but let's not escape the fact that there's going to be a whole bunch of other stuff coming at you to try and keep you from appreciating all of it. So I highly recommend. I mean, Pantera, this band is so powerful to me, and they've gotten me through so much and helped me process so much. I can't appreciate this band enough. It feels like if I ever had the opportunity to just be able to shake Phil's hand or Rex's hand, or, if Vinny and Dime weren't dead, if I ever had that chance just to shake their hands, look them in the eye and just say thank you, I couldn't pass that up. I mean, these guys created this whole attitude of, I can believe in myself, I have self-worth, and no one's going to take that from me. And it's empowering. I mean, Pantera is the embodiment of empowering music. They are big, they're loud, unapologetic. They are abrasive as you can get. I mean, every other metal band, like, you can be heavy, you can be angry, all this, but there is something unique about the way that Pantera approached these attitudes that sets them apart from everyone. So Pantera is like, goddamn, I fucking love this band so much. And I owe it all to Jared. I mean, obviously, I would have eventually listened to him and I would have eventually become a fan. But there was just something about Jared's background and my background that matched, and to be able to bond over music is powerful, but to be able to bond through music after going through very similar things, and honestly, I was like still just starting to go through a lot of my stuff that Jared had already been going through and had started making his way to the back half almost, or at least making progress through it. It's so awesome to be able to bond with people over art and to bond with them over this kind of stuff. God, this is one of those moments where, like, I want to say so much. I don't know how to put it into words of how much Pantera means to me, and how much Jared means to me, and the influence that he's had when it comes to music and just life in general. I love you, man. I love you. And I love this band, and I'm always grateful to have this music in my life. It's so fucking powerful. And I know I sound like a broken record, but it's just, seriously, put Pantera on, turn it up real loud, because that's the best way to listen to them. Lose yourself in their music and really just let the music take you on the journey that it wants to, that you need to take. You know, it's okay to headbang. Throw those horns high. Scream. Let it out. Don't bottle these negative emotions up, because everyone's going to experience them. Let them out. And I'm telling you, Pantera is the perfect band to let these emotions out to and with, because they're saying everything that we all want to say. They're just doing it really aggressively. So today, Pantera. I can't praise these guys enough. I can't praise Jared enough. And like I said at the beginning, I don't really have like specific stories about this band. They mean so much to me, and they're so influential on me. Even today, as I continue to go through everything, and the good days, the bad days, the really, really, really struggle kind of days, or even the days where everything is just so, the pieces finally fit well, and I feel really, really good. Even those days, I listen to Pantera, and you get this, the amount of self-worth that they inspire is awesome. So even on the great days, I can throw Pantera on, and it's like, oh, there's still more to appreciate. Oh, there's more confidence I can tap into. So I had to celebrate Pantera. Had to. Because they are one of the heavy hitters for my life, and continue to be. Continue every day. So I highly encourage everyone, check them out. Even if you're not a fan, really give them a shot. I think everyone should be a fan. But I get it if you don't, and I don't really care if you don't. So Pantera. Thank you, Pantera. You guys kick ass. That's my celebration of them and my relationship with my cousin Jared. So keep, enjoy it. Turn it up. Enjoy the music. what else do I got to say? Send me stories of how music has inspired you and affected your life. If you share similar kind of feelings towards Pantera, I mean, share them with me. I want to hear them. I want to celebrate this stuff with you, and I hope you enjoyed it. This one is kind of like an elated, kind of emotional. I mean, I will share something with you real quick before we go and just crank the music up. We're going through some real fucking tough times right now. I'm not going to go into it because we all know. But I had some real neat things happen over the last couple weekends. And yesterday, so Saturday, was an awesome day. I mean, it was full of laughter and friendship, just bonding. And that's what we need. We need bonding. We need friendships. We need to laugh and we need to enjoy stuff. I talk about that a lot in last week's episode. But then I had something amazing happen that I really, to be honest, had lost hope would ever happen again. And then it happened, and I'm still like emotionally affected by this. So bear with me. And trying to figure out like which band was I going to feature today, and I was coming off of just this crazy like emotional high, and I just started listening. Like Pantera came on my playlist, and it was like I was gonna feature him anyways. And the more I was listening to him and feeling this high emotion, I knew it. Like it clicked, like they always do. That I should have been listening to these guys more over the last couple weeks because they inspire such a incredible and powerful like feeling of things are going to be okay. Things suck, but they're going to be okay. You just got to flip it off, tell the world it hits like a bitch, and keep moving forward. I should have been listening to them loud for, this whole time. So that was really what really kicked me off to feature them today, was just hearing them when you're on such an emotional high and things finally feel good. And then these guys came on and listening to them, and it's just, they inspire such a great feeling of I can dominate anything. And we need that kind of right now because we've got a whole lot of shit in our world that's very tough to process. It's very tough to get through. It's frightening. But we got to find a way to find that foothold. We got to be able to... We got to hit back. Because we're taking a beating right now, but we got to hit back. And Pantera kind of makes... It really fuels that feeling of like, oh, I'm going to hit back. Not just I can, I'm going to. So throw them on, turn it up, rock out to it, scream, shout, sing along. I mean, do everything you need to. Let's vent some of this shit out. And that's it. That's my video. So thank you, everyone. I hope you enjoyed it. I know I had a lot of fun just kind of reminiscing about them, talking about them, celebrating them. And, yeah. So that's the video this week. That is episode 5. Yeah, I believe that's it. Hope you enjoyed it. Turn it up. Now let's crank some Pantera and have some fun with it, yeah? Fuck yeah. Have a great day, guys. Stay safe. Stay healthy. And we'll see you next week. All right? Rock on, everyone. Let's do this. Let's do this. I think I want to end this week with, obviously, a Pantera song. But I think we need something powerful. I think we need something big. And I think we need something that can, like, give us some hope. Because through all the shit that we deal with, I think we have a tendency to let the past really drag us down. And we got to find a way to understand that we can't let that happen, because the more we let our past drag us down, the harder things just seem to get in the future. So, I hope your necks are ready. We got to headbang, we got to scream, we got to do all this stuff, you know? So this is Yesterday Don't Mean Shit by Pantera. Are you ready? Hold on. Here we go.
There's nothing special about it. It's either there when you're born or not. Gifted with talent and no big deal. Welcome to the death of a century. Yesterday don't mean shit. What's over is over and nothing between. Yesterday don't mean shit, because tomorrow's a day you have to face. Oh, rewinding time. Yesterday don't mean shit. Yesterday don't mean shit. Reliving old reviews is a useless tool of confusion. Don't hold your breath for the turnaround. Coming to the world of endless time. Yesterday don't mean shit. What's over is over and nothing between. Yesterday don't mean shit, because tomorrow's a day you have to face. Oh, rewinding time. Yesterday don't mean shit. Yesterday don't mean shit. They'll tell you all about guilt. Anytime you face the darkness, but darkness is a friend to you. Embrace it for the madness. Life has God in wars and conflict. Oppression in you, oppression in you. Allowing through mine is paranoia. Oppression in you, the oppressor's in you. Yesterday don't mean shit. What's over is over and nothing between. Yesterday don't mean shit, because tomorrow's a day you have to face. Oh, rewinding time. Yesterday don't mean shit. Yesterday don't mean shit. Yesterday don't mean jack shit, look. You protect you and I can't do
Yesterday don't mean shit, everyone. Rock on. Have a good one.